Hey guys, what's going on? Got another shaman video, but this time is a bit different. We have the hero talents coming out for Resto Shaman and Elemental Shaman. They were just announced, so it's just a mock-up tree, so things are potentially changing, but this is what the basic layout is going to look like, and hopefully what's to come. But yeah, the enhance and resto or elemental and enhanced resto one have not yet to come out. So, but let's take a look at it. So first, we got Call of the Ancestors. For elemental, it's going to be geared towards Primordial Wave. For resto shaman, it's going to be geared towards Unleash Life. I really like how resto shaman has been put into Unleash Life. It is a common talent used among almost every resto shaman build for PvP, PvE, and raid and stuff like that. I think it's very, very common, very, very useful as well, very versatile. So I really like how this has been put out. But anyways, Primordial Wave or Unleash Life, call an ancestor for 6 seconds. Whenever you cast a healing or damaging spell, the ancestor will cast a similar spell. So what I'm thinking is this could be one of two ways. Either it's going to cast your next spell as a echo type of thing, or for the next 6 seconds, all your spells are going to be echoed by the ancestor. I'm not quite sure which one it's going to be, but I have a feeling it's going to be 6 seconds of the ancestor echoing all your spells, which for elemental, their mastery already does that. So you could have some crazy things going on, like 3 earthquakes, just from using one, or maybe even 4 if the ancestor can use their mastery and echo their things, or maybe the ancestor gets echoed too. There's a lot of questions here, but it's probably going to cast one additional one, so it's basically echoing what you're going to do. But yeah, but at the same time, if you echo, you're technically casting another spell, so who knows? But that's quite interesting. For Resto Shaman though, that's going to be kind of insane. Just you already have some pretty big heals, like when your chain heal gets its buff and stuff like that, you can really burst heal an entire group. It getting echoed is kind of crazy. Now we don't know what the percentage is going to be just yet, but I think it's going to be kind of insane for both Resto and Elemental. It's going to be hard to see whether Totemic or Stormbringer can compete with this one. So, but just, and especially them being on such a short cooldown, like Primordial Wave is probably about a 20-second cooldown with the amount of lava bursts you can cast and getting even more off. And Unleashed Wave or Unleashed Life, I believe, is like a 10 to 15-second cooldown. So you can really do a lot of casting with this if it is 6 seconds of just multicasting all your spells. I can't imagine it's going to be super significant amount, like it's probably going to be like 20% power, but you never know. So this is really cool to me. But on to the next set of talents. We got Latent Wisdom, increasing the spells that your guy casts for by 20%. So that's pretty powerful. Or you have a 15% chance to call another ancestor when that guy expires. So you could technically have 12 seconds. So that's quite interesting. I think just 20% more power is going to be the go-to chance or go-to talent, sorry, because a 15% chance for an extra 6 seconds when you already have such short cooldowns, it doesn't seem worth it over the 20% damage. So, you know, but it's quite cool they're thinking that way, so it's really, really interesting. But on to the next one, we got Heed My Call. Your ancestor lasts an additional 2 seconds, so that's quite a significant amount. 2 seconds, you could get that up to 8, and that would basically be more than half your Unleash Life cooldown, and pretty darn close to half of your Primordial Wave cooldown. So it's definitely going to be up there with uptime. The next one is Lava Burst has a chance to call upon an ancestor, and Riptide has a chance to call in. Okay, so that could be quite insane. My question is going to be, can it proc off of overloads? can it proc off multicasted lava burst? Like when you primordial wave, you send out 6 other lava bursts plus their echoes. So, that's a question. Can it proc off of its own ancestor lava burst? That's crazy. As for Resto Shaman, 15% chance to Riptide or get a ancestor to Riptide. And my other question is going to be, speaking of Riptide, is when you cast Riptide, does your ancestor cast it on the same target? And that this goes for both Flame Shock and Riptide, or is it going to cast on another target? Typically the lowest health or highest health for Flame Shock. These are questions that I'm wondering, or is it only going to take specific spells such as Lava Burst, Elemental Blast, Chain Heal, Healing Wave? What's the how's it going to react to that? That's my question. Because if you're riptiding the same target twice and you're just putting on like a more pathetic riptide onto a target, and it's overriding that feels terrible. So, but if it's going to pick a new target, that would be pretty crazy. So that's one question I'm wondering. There's a lot of questions here, but time will tell. Hopefully Blizzard will shine some light on it. But on to the next piece. We got Elemental Reverb. So Lava Burst gains an additional charge and deals 5% increased damage. The 5% increased damage is pretty nice. The extra charge is kind of meaningless because we have Echo of Elements. But you could opt out of it and take this talent and get the extra charge, but that means Echo of Elements is kind of worthless. So it's a weird thing, but but for Resto Shaman, the extra charge of Riptide is actually going to be quite nice because you want to get as many Riptides as possible. Like in a dungeon, you want everybody Riptided. So we could be looking at like a Riptide season for Resto Shaman, but yeah, these are interesting, making it's kind of making Echo of the Elements worthless to Elemental in Fire State, so kind of wondering for that. I mean, the PvP build currently doesn't use it, so maybe that's why, but if you don't want it, you don't want it. And typically you don't really want 3 charges of it, so seems kind of weird, but I have seen some cases in Raid where I would like 3 charges of Lava Burst, so it's hard to say. It just seems really weird to have an additional charge, but the 5% damage increase, it's pretty basic. On to the next one, Offering from Beyond. Elemental, when an ancestor is called, they reduce the cooldown of Fire Elemental and Storm Elemental by 10 seconds. Restoration Shaman, when an ancestor is called, they reduce the cooldown of Riptide by 2 seconds. So this one is kind of nice. You're going to be pulling the cooldown off of Fire Elemental even faster than you are now with whatever the talent is that causes your Lava Burst to reduce its cooldown. So that's kind of nice. As for Resto Shaman, pulling the cooldown off of Riptide is nice. It seems kind of weird that it's not choosing like a big cooldown such as Healing Tide Totem or maybe even Spirit Link. But if this is geared towards Riptide, then you get an additional charge plus healing more. You pull the cooldown off. You get more powerful, and you get a chance to summon one every Riptide. So all these can really link up into a really insane build for Riptide Shaman. So I guess that's pretty cool. Seems kind of odd to me that it is pulling the cooldown off. So every 15 seconds, you're taking 2 seconds off of Riptide. But it does link in quite nice. So I don't know. But it is kind of cool. They are gearing towards Riptide spam. So maybe that'll be nice. I'm not sure. But anyways, on to Primordial Capacity. We're increasing our resources, so maximum Maelstrom and maximum mana, kind of meh, because I've never really found myself at max Maelstrom unless it's single target PvE, and I get an Ascendance proc, and that's about it, but kind of an interesting one. The mana is definitely probably nice for Resto Shaman. You get a bit of extra mana. why not? A lot of your spells, when they critically strike, they give back percentage of mana, so that could be a big gain in the long run. But onto Spirit Walker's Momentum. Using spells with a cast time increases the duration of Spirit Walker's Grace and Spirit Walker's Aegis by 1 second, up to 4 seconds. So this is really good for both PvP and PvE. And the reason why is Spirit Walker's Grace allows you to move and cast at the same time, and Spirit Walker's Aegis prevents you from being interrupted. So that's pretty cool. I'm just wondering, I know it doesn't count Riptide because it never had a cast time, but I'm wondering about instant cast Lava Burst, considering it does technically have a cast time. It's just being removed by an ability. I wonder about that, but you know, it's 4 seconds, so it's not a big deal if it gets messed up. Oh, pardon me, sorry, get a little bit of the hiccups. But comes in handy sometimes. Was in PvP, this is going to be really, really strong for Resto Shamans. Just being able to free cast for another 4 seconds is pretty big. So, on to the next one. We got Nature's Harmony. Reduces the cooldown of Nature's Guardian by 10 seconds, and it causes you to heal for an additional 5% of your maximum health. If you don't remember what Nature's Guardian is, it is the form of cheat death system you have where you drop below, I believe it's 30%, and you heal for, I think, 30% of your maximum health or something like that. It's on a 45-second cooldown, so with this, it'll be down to a 35-second cooldown plus an additional 5% of your max health. So I think this will be really, really good in almost every scenario. And Earthern Communion, Earth Shield has an additional 3 charges and heals you for 25% more. So the 3 charges is really nice, I think, because I tend to lose track of my Earth Shield. So having an extra 3 charges is pretty cool. I'm wondering if this heals you for 25% more. It only applies to yourself. Because if so, then I think Nature's Harmony is going to be more valuable in most cases. But if this extra heal applies to whether you're tank or your teammates in an arena, this will be pretty good for Resto Shamans, I think. But on to Maelstrom Supremacy. We got increases the damage of Earthshock, Elemental Blast, and Earthquake by an additional 8%. So that's kind of nice just to... Oh boy. Chaos is happening. Okay, we're a bit closer now, but that's okay. Where are we? There we are. So this is kind of nice. It increasing our spenders, so I kind of like that, making them even more powerful. Resto Shaman increases the healing done by Healing Wave, Healing Surge, and Wellspring, Downpour, and Chain Heal. So basically everything Unleash Life affects. So that's pretty nice. When you Unleash Life, you just get a bit of extra juice, and everything is buffed permanently. So that's kind of nice as well. On to the second last talent, we got Final Calling. Elemental, when an ancestor expires, they cast Elemental Blast on a nearby enemy. This is really, really nice. It's kind of working how Primordial Wave does right now, where it casts a Elemental Blast. Again, my question is going to be, can the ancestor echo its abilities? Because if we can get 2 buffs of the effect, that would be really, really nice. If not, eh. But that's pretty cool. We get the free Ellie Blast at whatever power, so that's pretty nice. Resto Shaman, when an ancestor expires, they cast a Hydro Bubble on a nearby injured ally. Hydro Bubble surrounds your target in a protective water bubble for 10 seconds. The shield absorbs incoming damage, but the absorb amount decays fully over its duration. So it starts off high and it's constantly being drained, even when not taking damage. So that's kind of nice, especially when you're doing big pulls and stuff like that. It's just going to put a protective barrier on whoever. So I kind of like that. It's a free heal. It's a bubble for one, so it doesn't. I wonder how that's going to work with Resto Shaman Mastery, if it does at all. So, but that's pretty cool. I like that. Rather than casting a Riptide or something on somebody, it's casts a brand new ability. I like that. Then we got Ancestral Swiftness. Your next healing or damaging spell within 10 seconds is instant deals 10% increased damage and healing. If you know Nature's Swiftness, it is replaced by Ancestral Swiftness and causes Ancestral Swiftness to call an ancestor to your side. So basically, if you don't have Nature's Swiftness, it's only going to do this part. So it's only going to make your spell do 10% increased damage and cast instantly. But if you do have Nature's Swiftness, it's also going to call upon an ancestor. So this tree, in my opinion, I really like. Um, Honestly, for Elemental, it sounds like a lot of fun. For Resto Shaman, I'm not as attuned with Resto Shaman, so I'm not sure. To me, it seems really, really good that it's geared around Unleash Life. So I think that's great, and Riptide as well. So overall, I can't see anything terrible with it. It's not giving us new abilities to spam or anything like that, which I really like. It would have sucked to get new abilities to fill up our bars even more because we have so many freaking totems. But I really like this, the way it's laid out, how it works with each other. It's quite nice. You got a little bit of mobility, a little bit of defensive, and a bit of cooldown reduction, as well as just a bunch of both healing and damage effects. The questions are going to be, does it work with totems? Healing stream totem and stuff like that. I wonder how many ancestors can we have at once because you're giving us this plus this. So how is that going to react to each other? You can also spawn even more of them. Do they echo? Do they do, all sorts of things? These are all questions that will probably be answered once beta or alpha releases, or maybe Blizzard will give us a kind of more in-depth look at it later on. But so far, I really like this. I am super excited for Stormbringer and Totemic to come out. Based on how this looks, it looks really great. I'm really excited. I love the fire build for Elemental. I do like Unleashed Life for Resto Shaman. I am really, really glad they didn't put Primordial Wave in its place because that would have just been that would have got some serious backfire, I think. But Unleashed Life, I think, is a great choice for this tree. But yeah, that is it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on this tree, whether you like it, dislike it, maybe something you'd want to change, or whether you're excited to try it out and stuff like that. So let me know. But that is it for the video. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Laters!